Hey guys, it's Julie with Pro To Col Systems. Okay, I have a really good interview today. So I am here with Mariel Ruiz Stasiuk. I keep getting her last name wrong. I practiced it and I still got it wrong. Okay, she is a mental training and performance consultant. So under the guise of like sports psychology. So we're going to talk today about the injury and the psychology of injury and the psychology of sport. Because there is a huge stigma with a lot of people about I have to be completely perfect and everything's great. I'm an athlete. There's anything wrong with me. I'm a physical being and I should be able to get through stuff. And we just had a bunch of athletes compete at a really high level at Master Worlds for Jiu-Jitsu. We do a lot with Jiu-Jitsu fighters. And that is a huge mental challenge just as well as a physical challenge. Right. So I thought this would be a perfect segue. So first of all, what is sports psychology or mental performance training? Right. What is it?
So I would say performance training is just looking at where you are with all your talents, all the skills, all the resources that you have at the present time, and just maximize those so you can have that optimal or desired performance.
Okay.
And a lot of them are just helping your mind and training your mind to get there.
Okay.
So just like you're training your body, you go to the gym, you get muscles, you train, you get that technique, and it's the same thing. You train your mind to get there. So it takes practice as well.
Well, sure, because the mind, I know that having played competitive and professional sports, you can see the minute somebody loses it mentally. Right. And the 5 inches between your ears is a huge vacuous space. You can make it or break it in that space between your ears. So it's amazing how important the mindset is, both good, bad, and how to get back if you lose it. Exactly. So let's break down the different types of sports psychology.
Okay, so I'll just say this up front. The difference between sports psychology and just what we know as therapy, the difference is that sports psychology is very focused and concentrated in the performance. Okay. So within the sport. And therapy as well is very helpful, but it's more digging into just life situations. Going to a little bit more of a background. In a sports psychology session, it's not like you're sitting or laying on a couch.
Right.
That's not what we do.
Right.
Even we go to the field, we do some training on the field.
Okay.
So you train and you practice those skills in that real environment.
Yeah, when I was playing club, we had a sports psychologist come and he would work with us, getting us ready for games, getting us ready to compete, to not compete, to how the different factors that go into where you're at when you're playing. And there's so many different facets of the mind-body connection. Right. Like what would you say as far as what are some of the biggest things that you encounter? Is it like pre-competition, nerves, competition, like how to get through things, post-competition, like what are the biggest things that you kind of come across when you're working with different types of athletes and people in sport?
Right. I think I've seen a little bit of everything, but what's really common is pressure. So how to cope with pressure that comes with stressful situations. Yeah. Or maybe it's not your own pressure, but it's other people that are putting pressure on you. Yeah. The higher the level, the higher the stress, the higher the commitment. Yep. So everything that goes with that, how do you cope with that? Right. So a lot of stress management skills would come very handy there. Because nerves are good. Yeah. Nerves are, they're here to help us. Yeah. But if we don't use them effectively, then those nerves are gonna play against us.
Totally. Now let's break that down a little bit more. So we have other factors that contribute, like coaches, parents. Right. What are some of the other outside factors that come in to kind of get us going?
So it all depends on the sport, the age. So for kids, there's a lot of competition right now to be the best one, to get that scholarship. So there's a lot of pressure within the kids. And you see kids that are 10, 12 years old and they have a lot of stress, like high stress, and it's just their body is not being able to cope with all that.
Right, so, and a lot of parents want their kids to go pro. And have when they're 5, they've decided their whole career for them, and it gets very stressful to stay up with that.
Exactly.
Do boys and girls have a different way of dealing with it?
Definitely, as people, we're all different,
right?
So we have different resources. We came from different families, different experiences, so that can also play another important thing about how to cope with stress.
Sure.
But genders,
Yeah.
For sure.
And now what's the difference between like that and injury? Because there's a whole different facet between the stress of wanting to compete at a really high level or, oh my God, I just got injured. It's a week before my competition and my whole life is ruined.
Right, so usually injury comes in various different ways. Sometimes because of that high level stress, we put our body into that stage and then our body can't take it. So then that's when injuries come into play.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe athletes are not aware how they're training, if they're stretching, they're doing all that preparation. And sometimes that's how, a simple error can just lead into an injury. But yes, injury, it's very fascinating because even when athletes are injured, they're not able to surpass that injury just because they're thinking about it. So there's more stress to it.
Right.
So there's a lot of studies that will talk about. There's patients or in hospital environments, but they transfer this to any environment. So if someone has an injury and there's less stress, the recovery will be faster than if you have that stressful situation. You're putting all those loads into your body as well.
Right, and it makes sense. Like the people who just kind of are like, oh my God, I have no plan. What am I going to do? Their whole life crumbles, and it could not be the injury's fault specifically because the body is going to heal, but it's the mind that gets stunted in that moment, which is just fascinating to me. So there are a lot of myths about sports psychology and performance coaching. Let's run down some of the myths and try to break them while we have a good crew watching.
Sure. So one of them I just mentioned is it's not that the athlete is going to sit down on a couch and tell me your problems and how do you feel. No, it's not about that. It's all about meeting that athlete, that person. Where are you now? What are your goals? And let's go after them. So let's find some tools and techniques to really tackle those and reach to that goal that you're looking for. So that's one of the major ones. Sports psychology can also be applied in other environments. So I call it it's performance psychology. We're always performing. You're performing at your job. I'm performing at my job. Doctors, military service members, they're all performing at this high level. So it's all about that performance. So it's behaviors and actions that we take every day.
Sure. And I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, there's a concern like you're going to go into their background and try to figure out all about them and open up the Pandora's box that is them and get out their wildest secrets or whatever. Like you're going to be too much into their space.
No. We don't keep like a record and let's see what they're coming from. If there's some things from your past that are going to help you in this present time to get you where you want to be, of course we'll talk about it, but no. And also the confidentiality piece is very important. As health professionals, that's our main concern. Our athletes, our patients, even in the higher level pro athletes, we try to keep that, you know, the names and everything that they share, it's under that confidentiality.
Yeah, so not everybody's going to know the minute that you have an issue.
No, we have contracts and everything for that as well. So no, if you share something with your sports psychologist, it's going to be kept a secret, just because we're professionals about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people think they're crazy, or it's a sign of weakness to go and see.
Yes.
Like that's a huge myth, because it's actually a sign of strength to go and see somebody that you're having issues with and go be able to talk it through, correct?
Yeah. And thankfully, our field is growing and it's becoming more popular just because athletes and performers are looking at the benefits from it.
Yeah.
So it's not because you're crazy. It's not because you need help. It's just giving you some tools. Maybe you have some of them. Maybe you're already a great performer. Yeah. But if you don't, and maybe you benefit from this tool right here, maybe there's an adverse moment in your career. That way you are equipped and ready to fight with or against those adversity challenges.
Yeah. Well, speaking of tips, do you have any tips, like take-home tips and techniques that people can do at home to get ready, or by themselves to get ready?
Sure. Probably the most common one that I use with my athletes and myself. I'm a cyclist. I've done a couple of triathlons, just the sprint ones. But I would create a plan for my competitions or my athletes. So what do you want to accomplish? Of course, we all want to win, right? We're here, and that's nature. But how are you going to get there? So the process and breaking down those goals, I want to go into the field and be confident and just remember my basic, my technique. So everything that you want to see during that game time, game day, that's what you want to write down.
Yep.
So that would be one. Just be aware of what would you like in your competition. If you have routines already, keep doing routines because routines help build that consistency.
Yes, they do.
And give you that confidence. And I know what to do, and my mind and everything is just synced to whatever I want. I know what I have to do.
Sure.
So that's one. The other one, I love this skill and this technique just because it's so easy. Yeah. With visualization and imagery.
Yep.
Probably there's, you've all known or heard about it. It's just creating a mental, it's a movie, but you're the director, which is pretty cool. So you create this movie and everything that you want, just like your pre-plan. You can transfer that plan into your mind and go through it. Olympic athletes do it. Even within the military, they do it as well. So it builds repetition. And the interesting part about visualization is that the brain, we trick our brain. Sometimes it doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's not real. So with that mental rehearsal, we're tricking our brain and doing something that we're not physically doing. But the prints or the neural connections are actually firing up just by thinking about it.
Yeah, it's true. We do a lot of that in here. We really create ritual, and then one of the things we do is playlisting, so that you have a specific song playlist that you listen to while you're doing certain things, and then when you get into your competition, you put it on, and your body subconsciously understands it, and you go right back into that space. It's really great to play with the brain and the subconscious, how that works around there, to just kind of get you into that mode.
Yes,
it's pretty incredible. So there's a ton of benefits with seeing somebody and talking to somebody as far as performance training and therapy and sports psychology. What are a couple of the key benefits that you can give us that we haven't already discussed in here?
I would say it's just a self-trust and believing in your own skills and strengths, and just because when it's game day, you just show up and just do what you love.
Yes.
I'll share a little bit about my background. I played tennis when I was in middle school, high school. I wasn't enjoying the game, so I went through a lot of pressure. And looking back, I wish I would have had, you know, someone like me or other professionals just to help me cope with all that pressure. Probably I would have enjoyed my sport in a different level, and I don't know what would have happened. I don't know, but yeah, it's just enjoying what you love to do.
The body knows what to do. It's the brain that gets in the way half the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, you guys, I hope you got a lot of really great information out of this. She is incredible. I'm going to put Mariel's contact information up in the comments section. If you need to see her, give her a call. I'm also going to include her on our Facebook chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask her and she will write you back. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day. All right, bye.